Amid the controversy surrounding the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Joe Igbokwe, has claimed that Governor Siminalayi Fubara never spoke as a governor. Well, according to Igbokwe, the embattled governor only speaks and behaves like a student union president and not a governor. A post on his Facebook page reads, "In actions and deeds, Fubara never spoke as a sitting governor. He behaved and spoke like a student union president." Well, ATN reports that President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday declared a state of emergency in Rivers State over the political crisis in the state and consequently suspended Governor Fubara, his deputy, and all elected lawmakers, a move that has divided Nigerians. Many stakeholders, especially opposition figures, have strongly opposed the proclamation, stating that it is illegal for the president to suspend elected officials. Despite the outrage, the Senate and the House of Representatives on Thursday gave approval for the emergency rule in Rivers State. Comrade Ibim, I'd like to get your reactions when you first heard of the state of emergency in Rivers State. What was your reaction like?
I was shocked and perplexed.
Why were you shocked? I mean,
because I have not really seen at what level or point that the state of emergency was declared on River State. In my own thinking
all right.
and research, no. Last week, it was in public notice that the governor haven't communicated to the speaker of the River State House of Assembly after the judgment given by the Apex Court.
All right.
To go and present the budget for them to also give consent
yes.
and do the needful.
Right.
But it was shut out at the assembly quarters. Now, here we are, the issue of state of emergency is being declared. So what really happened?
All right. Wait, before the governor went for the presentation of the budget, was there correspondence from the Speaker of the House?
Well, from the account of the Secretary to the State Government, he said all correspondence have been done to the Speaker of the House of Assembly. The first issue was we saw video clips of one of the assembly members, Honorable Lolo Puende, who said the governor cannot communicate to them through social media.
Exactly.
That was filtered over public space. But on the account of the SSG, he said presentation of budget was communicated appropriately to the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly.
Now, the Speaker did not respond to the message. Well, the governor said he has already sent him a message notifying him that he was coming to the House. But there was no response, or probably for him to come or to acknowledge that, okay, he has gotten this.
Remember, they were already at rift before that time.
Yeah, exactly.
There have also been internal rancor before that time. Now, their position was that the governor was delaying to act in accordance of the Supreme Court judgment. So, ordinarily, it would be fair that the both parties, before these happenings, would have made the general public to understand at what point that the communication failed. Because ordinarily, there are mechanisms and ways and means of how they communicate internally. You know, we have internal correspondence and all that. Now, I cannot sit here to also assume or say as a fact that the governor did not communicate to the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, or the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly in return did not also respond appropriately. these issues are very sensitive issues where the speaker is supposed to make fact known to Rivers people and to the world that I did not receive that information, so as not to respond as it were. But if he received the information hitherto and failed to respond, then something is fishy in between. But for the governor to leave government house, move with his entourage to the House of Assembly quarters to do the needful and was shot at, that also is something that is not very, very palatable.
All right. Well, just like you said that you were shocked when you heard about the state of emergency, and you're not just the only person who was shocked. Quite a number of Nigerians were also shocked as regards to this, and they've been outraged that the call for a state of emergency is unconstitutional. Do you also see this as being unconstitutional in your own perspective?
As I know, there are processes for declaring a state of emergency, which will also be rectified by the National Assembly.
It has already been passed
as it were.
Yesterday.
Now,
yes.
Looking at the issues that were presented, I think it was something that was done in a haste.
Okay.
As it were. Because the processes were already ongoing, which is adhering to the court judgment. The governor have commenced that process of going to present budget to the Rivers State House of Assembly. If he had not commenced any process, as it were, then you would have said, okay, judgment has been given, the governor is still dilly-dallying in making sure that this budget should be repassed or should be resubmitted to the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now, we are in a situation where state of emergency have been declared. Already, we cannot turn back the hands of the clock. Exactly. But in my own thinking, it was something that wasn't fair. It was something that I feel has a huge political interest, because given 6 months from the declaration, for me, is something that it was done with high political interest.
Okay, so well, in all of this, there have been so many controversies, like we've seen since the declaration of the state of emergency. But now we have Igbokwe saying that the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara, speaks and behaves like a student union president. From your own perspective and your own analysis, in what form do you think that Igbokwe is coming from, looking at the way the governor had handled the issues right from the very start until when he was suspended?
Truth be told, we all know that everyone is entitled to his opinion.
Exactly.
And again, it is disheartening and sad for a man of his standing to use such derogatory language on a governor.
How do you mean?
Now, addressing a governor as a student unionist, that shouldn't come from such a character.
So what do you think might have pushed him to make such statement? If that shouldn't come from such
that is why I said,
so there's something must have triggered him to make such statement.
I wouldn't know what triggered him, but in my thinking and feeling, it's still related to political interest. Otherwise, a man that everybody knows, it's in public domain, both internationally and locally, that this man, nobody has seen the kind of peaceful disposition that this man has put in public space. A governor who, in all of this, preach peace to his followers every now and then. So, for you to address him in that manner, it shows that, one, you are already biased in your submissions.
Okay. Well, looking at the way the governor handled the situation, the River State crisis, when it started up until when he has been suspended, which parts of his actions would you say were justifiable, and which part of his actions would you say that, okay, the governor wouldn't have done this, he would have done this? Let me get your take on that.
Well, as we all know, there were also issues of defection.
Okay.
That is even the crux of the matter.
All right.
Where the lower court was entertaining the matter before even the Supreme Court gave judgment. And that matter is supposed to come next month, 16th thereabout, to hear or to give judgment for and against the issue of defection of the 27 lawmakers hitherto. Now, for me, I already said we cannot turn back the hands of the clock. Otherwise, that matter is a matter that should be addressed where ordinarily we saw on TV. You are a journalist and these informations are at your disposal. We saw lawmakers from Rivers State waving APC flags. We saw lawmakers being received by APC leaderships. We saw on national TV where affidavit was sworn to that regard that they have defected from PDP to the APC. We also got rumors that when they visited the villa during when Mr. President was, intervened on the Rivers State crisis, where questions were asked, and Mr. President also said he cannot throw away the bathwater and the baby. Simply means the defectors is now members of the All Progressive Council. But this is a very critical matter that was not resolved. Judgment was not given at the appeal court before the declaration of state of emergency and the judgment given by the apex court. Right. So for me, that issue is supposed to be an issue that would have broken the camel's back, so where everybody would have known the judgment or the ruling that would have come out to say, yes, of a truth, these people defected or otherwise. So the governor, in my own thinking, was also waiting for that judgment, as it were.
Okay.
Because it was also a matter in court that everybody is waiting for ruling. Now, he has already been doing legislative and executive business with 3 lawmakers, which is Okojumbo, Honorable Victor Okojumbo, Honorable Sukari Goodboy Sukari, and Honorable Adolphus Orobienemia, as it were. Now, ordinarily, it's also known that these persons, as it were, could not have been able to pass appropriation bills because of the minute number. But by law, they are seen as the authentic lawmakers left when the other 27 have defected. So if not for them coming to contest the issue of defection, otherwise these 3 remaining persons by law are the authentic lawmakers then, before ever the judgment of the Supreme Court was made. And that judgment also was capturing the issue of defection, whereas originally it was not part of the issues that was presented to the Supreme Court. So if you look at these matters critically, you also know that there has been some very biased and undemocratic processes that have led to all of this happening.
All right, so the question still remains, what part of how the governor handled the situation did you like the most? How did he handle the situation from the start up until this time?
Like as I said, the man naturally is a peaceful man.
Don't you think that's also the reason why Igbokwe is saying that he's speaking like he speaks and behaves like a student?
But you know, part of also what was said to the reason for the emergency declaration was that some persons masquerading as militants threatened to blow up the pipelines. And the governor, as you know,
actually there were threats actually as regards to
and the governor, as you know, hails from a Ijaw extraction. And you also will agree with me that as the fourth largest ethnic nationality in Nigeria, the Ijaw people are people that are fearless in their dealings globally. And it will take someone of His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara to even calm the nerves of these teeming youths. Otherwise, from when these whole issues commenced till date, when this declaration of state of emergency was made, my brother, you would have seen different things happening in the state. It was still the governor who was calming all and sundry to say, no, there are different approaches to different things. You cannot do this, you cannot do that at this particular time. This is a political matter and we should address it politically. We are not in a war crisis where you will now use negative approach to political matters. So that is where and what I have known. I am a leader of my ethnic nationality, and I know the informations from the Eshi severally to say, my people, please, I beg you, this is a political matter. We will address it politically. We shouldn't use negative means of addressing the matter. That disposition alone, it won my heart, because I know for and against, youth would have been dead by now. The state would have been in chaos. The state of emergency would have even been declared months ago, and not now that the state was calm relatively. Businesses were ongoing, people doing their normal businesses, everywhere is calm, peaceful. People work 2-3 a.m., go to club at night. So for me, my submission is that the governor should keep up his calmness and his disposition in the way he has been handling things.
All right. But what aspects of his handling that you do not like? What aspect of him handling the situation, which of them that you do not like at all? That you might see, you might have a suggestion for him to say, okay, he would have done this way, he would have done it this way or this way.
Truth be told, the governor did not exercise his powers as governor of Rivers State.
Okay.
We are all in Rivers State, where His Excellency, the former governor of Rivers State, who is the FCT minister, cases where people he feels that their opposition holds meeting in a particular place and the C of O's were withdrawn of those properties. It's something that was in public domain. We have seen where one of our leaders, Honorable Farah Dagogo, who was said to have obtained intent form from Abuja, was prosecuted and sent to prison. Now, these are facts and not fictions. Now, ordinarily, if the governor has stolen that part of his predecessor, people will say, well, I've been blackmailing him, criticizing him, and all that. But he should to be very calm and peaceful. So, for me, I also feel bad that he did not do the needful when he ought to do the needful.
And what's this needful that he ought to have done?
Now, when you are faced with a lot of challenges, you also need to go back. It's all known all over the world that when you are pushed to a wall, you must also look for a mechanism to rescue yourself. In every reaction, there are opposite and counter reactions. Now, you have that constitutional powers as a sitting governor elected by your people, not elected by only people from your ethnic nationality, by all and sundry people who we have the non-indigenous who reside in Rivers State, who votes here, do businesses here. So you must also learn to execute that executive powers that are given to you when you are faced with certain confrontations that you know you have this constitutional right to do XYZ things. These are things he failed to do.